Hello there. In this lesson, I want to go over the subjunctive following verbs of emotion, impersonal expressions, and OJALA. So the lesson objectives are to learn expressions of emotion, impersonal expressions, and OJALA, and learn how these expressions are used with the subjunctive tenses in sentences. So in this lesson, we're going to cover expressions of emotion, impersonal expressions, and OJALA, and view examples of them being used in sentences. You must use a subjunctive in the dependent clause anytime there is an expression of emotion, an impersonal expression, or OJALA in the independent clause. So we're going to we're going to focus on one at a time. So let's start with the expressions of emotion. Here's a partial list of verbs and expressions of emotion. Alegrarse is to be glad or to be happy about. Molestar, to bother, to annoy. Sentir, to be sorry, to regret. Sorprender, to surprise. Preocuparse de or por is to worry about. Lamentar is to regret. Encantar is to be delighted. Temer is to fear. Tener miedo de is to be afraid of. And doler is to hurt. So let's look at some of these sentences that actually use these expressions of emotion in the independent clause. Again, so the subjunctive is used in the second verb. So for example, I am is the first verb here in the independent clause. That is a conjunction here, so we have a second subject, and here is the second verb. So the subjunctive is used here in the dependent clause. Okay. For example, it bothers. This is the first verb in the independent clause. Bothers me. Conjunction. Second subject. And here is the second verb, the verb of the dependent clause. And this is where we're going to use subjunctive. Okay? All right, so I am glad that you will participate in this exchange program. Me alegra, so I'm glad alegrarse de. Okay? Where is it? Right there. Me alegra que participes. Okay? We're going to use the subjunctive form of participar. Participes en este programa de intercambio. Okay, it bothers me that you don't help with the chores. It bothers me, of course, is a subjunctive trigger, verb expression of emotion, and so we're going to have to use a subjunctive here. So me molesta que no ayudes con los quehaceres, and he fears that the package is lost. Okay, he fears. To fear is an expression of emotion, and so we're going to have to use the subjunctive here. Okay, so teme que el paquete esté perdido. It surprises me that you watch foreign films. Okay, we're going to use subjunctive here. Me sorprende que mires películas extranjeras. We will now focus on impersonal expressions. Remember that impersonal expressions all take it. In English and in Spanish, they take es. Okay, so here's a partial list of impersonal expressions. It is important, es importante. It is necessary, es necesario. It is wonderful, es maravilloso. It's incredible, es increíble. It's unfortunate, it's a shame, es una lástima. It's sad, es triste. It is not important, no es importante. So let's look at some examples of sentences using impersonal expressions. Okay, so here's an impersonal expression. And so then we're going to have to use, and of course the first verb is that. For you would be the second subject. It is actually the first subject. You is the second subject or the subject of the dependent clause. You take out, right? So take out is going to be where we're going to use a subjunctive. It is the first subject. Is the first verb. We have a conjunction, and we have the second subject. He does not what? Care. So this is the second verb. This is where we use a subjunctive. It, first subject, is first verb. Then we have actually a conjunction working, or a preposition working as a conjunction for beginners to learn. Beginners learn. So beginners would be the second subject, and then we have learn, which is the second verb. So this is where we use a subjunctive here. It is important for you to take out the trash at the end of every shift. Es importante que saques la basura al fin de cada turno. Remember that sacar is a verb, one of the cargars are verbs, and so you're going to have to, there's a stem change from, or a change in spelling from C to QU, okay, in the subjunctive. It is a shame that he does not care about this project. Es una lástima que a él no le importe este proyecto. Okay, subjunctive there. It is necessary for beginners to learn a lot of vocabulary. Es necesario que los principiantes aprendan mucho vocabulario. Subjunctive here. Okay, now let's look at ojalá. So ojalá translates as I hope that, let's hope that, hopefully. It also triggers the subjunctive in the dependent clause. So if you find these expressions, I hope that, let's hope that, hopefully, they translate as ojalá, and you're going to have to use a subjunctive in the dependent clause. Okay, so I hope that he, oops, that they accept him. Let me fix this. I hope that they accept him in the program. Ojalá que lo, right? They accept him. So this is a direct object. Here, a direct object pronoun is needed. So ojalá que lo acepten en el programa, that they accept. Hopefully they will give us a raise. Ojalá que nos den. Okay, they give us, and so this is the indirect object, right? So we need an indirect object pronoun here, and then we have the they give, den. Ojalá que nos den un aumento. Let's hope that she feels better soon. Ojalá que ella se sienta mejor pronto. This, of course, being a reflexive verb. So that's what this says here. Se sienta mejor, and this is also a stem changer, right? In the yo form, it stem changes from e to ie. So that's siento. You remove the o, then you add the opposite vowel. Because it's an IR verb, you need the a. So se sienta mejor pronto. All right. Okay, so that is it for subjunctive following verbs of emotion and personal expressions and ojalá.